back to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for all of your support. If you are new to this channel, if this is the first time of you coming across Stylish Naija YouTube channel, you are highly and very welcome. And if you have not subscribed, please, I will appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button and then hit on the bell also to get an update whenever I upload a new video. You can also follow me on all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all at Stylish Naija. Okay, so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to cut and sew a circle dress. Yeah, a circle dress with a neck bow, a necktie. You can call it a necktie, you can call it a neck bow. It's just a cheeky dress, as in the dress is really cheap. So I saw it and I liked it. I decided to make a tutorial on it. So if you want to register for our online classes, so you can see my number scrolling through the screen, just send me a message on WhatsApp and then I'll give you the details of the classes that we have available. Okay, so now let's get started. So the first thing is how we're going to fold our fabric. So the fabric I'm making use of, this is like a cotton fabric, really. So it is like a cotton fabric. It's not really stretchy. So I'm going to be making use, I have 3 yards, yeah, these 3 yards. So that's what I'm going to be making use of. So I'm just going to explain quickly how we are going to fold our fabric, because I'm going to cut out the front and the back. So I'll cut them separately. So like this is my fabric. I'm just going to fold it like this, like a triangle, in a triangle form. So once I fold like this, I'm going to get my shoulder line here like this. So once I get my shoulder line here, I'll measure from this point to this point. I'll get my armhole. After getting my armhole, the next thing I'm going to measure is the length of the dress. And then once I get the length of the dress, I'm just going to flip it like this to this part, just like creating a curve, so it is not too straight. So you can see that it is a very simple process. It's very simple. So you cut out this. Once you cut this out, you use it to cut the back also. So you see how beautiful. So you add your neckline here. So you see how beautiful it is. So you see it's looking like what we have on the picture. It's a very simple process. So this is just literally what we're going to be doing with this fabric. So I'm going to fold the fabric and then we'll cut it out like this. Okay, so what I'm going to show you now, just like I explained. So the folding of your fabric, how wide you want your circle to be, actually depends on how you fold. For instance, you can see my fabric, I just folded like this. So if you want it to be very big and wide, you can decide to go in more. So you understand? So the more you extend your triangle, the more wider it will be. That's, the circle will be so big. But if you don't want your circle to be too big, you can actually reduce the size of your triangle. So that's just it. So you can see what I'm trying to do. I really don't want it to be too over, as in too big. So I'll reduce my triangle just like a little bit. So you can see how I'm folding it at an angle. And then I'm going to measure out. So in order for you to get the length, so the length that I'm using for this dress, I'm actually making use of 40 inches. So what I'm going to do, the first thing you are going to do is you measure your shoulder. So my shoulder is 14, you divide into 2, you have 7. So you just make sure, so you see I have space, so I can still pull it more, I can still come up more. So it depends on how many inches. So I'm just going to use those points as my start up point. Just pick a point, really. So from this point, I'll measure my 7 inches for my shoulder. So for this, when you are doing this, you have to be very careful because of the bust. So because of that, because if this top part is too slim, it might affect the bust. So I'm just going to come down more so that I'll have room for the bust part. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to do. So I'll do this. And then, so once I have my 7 inches, I know that my bust measurement will take my bust measurement also, and then I will still have some allowance in. So I'll measure my shoulder now. So this is my shoulder measurement. So I just okay. So I hope you can see it now. So it's what so I'll measure the shoulder like I said, 7 inches. So this is 7 inches for my shoulder, and then I'm going to add just 1 inch as my allowance. I'll add it like this. And then the next thing from this point, I'm going to measure my armhole. So for the armhole, I'm going to make use of 8 inches for my armhole. So this is 8 inches. And then I'll create out a curve. So I'll create out the curve like that for the armhole. The next thing I'm going to measure now is the length of my blouse, sort of my dress, of my circle dress. And the length that I'm making use of is 40 inches. So I'm going to add 2 inches on it for allowance. So I'm going to mark like this. And then I'm going to just keep rotating just to create out my curve. Okay, so what is remaining that I'm going to measure here now is the bust measurement. So it depends on you. You can decide to, it depends on how free. If you want the bust area to be a little bit tight, then you can impute your bust measurement. So my bust is 36. So when you divide 36 into 4, you have 9 inches. So I'm going to add as much, because I don't want it to be tight, I'm going to add as much as 3 inches for my allowance. I want it really free. So you're going to have this. So from this part, I'm just going to float this into this part and then use the triangle to cut it out. So I'm going to cut this and then I'll cut out the back also. I'll place it on the back and then cut out a second one like this, because I'm not going to be adding a zipper to the dress. So I'll show you how to add the joining on it. And so this is a kind of satin. I'm going to use this as a tie. That's that bow tie that you see at the back. So this is what I'm going to use for it. Okay, so I finished cutting the back and the front. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to cut out the neckline. So for the neckline, you can see it is just a simple round neckline. So I'm going to be adding that band on the neckline part. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use 3 inches like this on this neckline point, both for the back and the front, and then I'm going to measure the depth of the neckline. So for the depth, I'm going to use 2 inches for the front one. So I'm just going to mark it like this. And then for the back neckline, I'm going to use just 1 inch. So this is the back neckline, this is the front neckline. So I'm going to slope my shoulder into this point. I'll use 1 inch. So I'm just going to float it like this. So we'll cut out now. So I'll cut out the back neckline first. So you can use 3.5 also for this neckline if it is for somebody that is a little bit bigger. So I'll cut out the front neckline now. So like I said, I'm not adding any zipper to it. So what I'm going to do now, from the back neckline, I'm going to measure as much as 6 inches. So it will be able to pass through the neck. So I'm going to cut it open. So I'll cut it open. So I'm going to cut out a facing for the back neckline. That's this cut part. Just between here and here. This other part, the bow is going to sit on it, so I don't need a facing. So I'll use it to sew and turn this. So I'll go back to my machine now. I'll go and join the sides together. So since it is a free dress, I'm just going to join them using quarter of an inch on both sides. So I join front to back on the shoulder part like this. So you see from the shoulder, I'll join this part, and then this also I will join to this part, and then I will join the sides, my side seam. I just take it down to the hem. So I go do that and then bring it back and show you how we're going to cut the neck and band. Okay, so I finished joining the side of my dress. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to cut out the necktie. So along the way, I decided to, initially I thought, I actually did not want to line this dress. But as I was making it, I now decided to just line it. So the back part, instead of using the facing, the facing that we cut out, you're just supposed to use that facing. You just stitch it from inside and then you push it in just like this. As you place it like this, and then you stitch on this right side and then you push it in and then hem it. So that's what I wanted to do, but like I said, I changed my mind along the way and decided to add a lining to it, just a half lining. So the lining is a short one, so you can see it's reaching about this point like this. So I decided to add a lining, so you see how the back is looking like. So even if you are using a facing, you're still going to have the same result, as in this back is still going to look like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now, we're going to cut out the necktie. It is a simple fabric, nothing much, just like a long strap. We're just going to sew it around, because when you knot it on the neckline, you knot it to fit. Okay, so you are going to measure the amount of width that you actually want. So mine, I really don't want it to be too high. Yeah, so I really don't want it to be too high. So I'm just going to measure about 2.5 yards. So 2.5 inches. So I think my 2.5 inches is okay. So at the end of the day, it will be like 2 inches. So I'll fold it into two, and then I'm going to cut it along the line. I'm just going to cut it. So I'm using the full length of my satin, which is 60 inches. That's the length of 60 inches. So I'll cut it out right now. So here's what we are going to do. I want you to pay close attention. So I think I'm still going to add a little bit to it. I'm going to join a little piece on it. I want it to be really long. So maybe I'll cut out my sleeve first, and then I'll add about 10 more inches to it. So just take note. So at the end of the day, everything I'm using about 70 inches long and 2.5 inches wide. Okay, so now let's cut out the sleeve. So like I said, this is just a basic long sleeve. That's what I'm going to cut. The down part, I'm going to add an elastic to this down part, just to give it like a kind of like a fullness here. So it's going to be free on the center. So I'll fold my fabric into four. So I'm just going to be freehanding it. I will not use any slash and spread. Just make it simple. So the next thing, on this top part, I'm going to measure my sleeve as my round armhole. So I'll place my armhole measurement. So that is what you will use to determine the width of the plates that you are going to plait it. Okay. So I'll mark it here. So the next thing, so I'm just using this point as my start up point. So from this point, I'm going to mark my sleeve cap. So since I don't want a very high sleeve, I'll just use 4 inches. So from this 4 inches, see what I'm just going to do, just blend it into this point. You see, it is a very simple process. Just blend it into that point. And then the next thing, I'm going to measure the length of my sleeve. So for the length of my sleeve, like I said, I just want it like a basic long sleeve. So for the length of the sleeve, I'm going to use about 20 inches. Why I'm using 20 inches? Because I'm going to add an elastic to it. So when I add an elastic, it's going to reduce to about 18 inches. So from this point like this, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to mark it straight. So you see it is a straight sleeve. So once I put the elastic, it becomes like this. And then I'll just have a little bit of bulkiness here. So that's that. So I'm going to cut out right now. Okay, so on the center part of this sleeve, I'm going to like do something like a ruche here. So but I'm going to use an elastic to do that. So I'm just going to take the mid of my sleeves. So this is the middle here. So after stitching, I'm going to just sew like a 3 inches elastic on it just to bring it down. So I'll show you as I do that. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'll go and create my elastic casing for my sleeve. So I'm just going to create a casing here. So I've done that a lot of times on my videos. I'll just create a casing here that I'll pass the elastic into, and then this part I'll fix on the sleeve. So I'll show you. So this part I'm going to fix. I'm going to fix it into the armhole area like this. So I don't have any excess. So I don't think I'm going to pleat it. I'm just going to fix it like that. And then I'll sew this part down and create my casing here, like I said. Okay, so I'll go ahead and do that now. And then for the neck band, I'm going to go and stitch it. I'll turn it, that's sew it and turn, and then iron it. I'll sew everything, turn it. I want it to be neat, including the edges. I'll sew everything. I'll just open from the center and then turn and iron. Okay, so this is the sleeve now. So here's how we're going to fix it. So the elastic that I told you I was going to put. So I'll come, so that's the original line. So I'll come from this point. I'll mark 2.5 inches to this side like this. And then this same one also, I'll mark 2.5 inches also. So the reason for the 2.5 inches is how much I'm going to pull the elastic. So I'll open it up like this. So this is elastic that I cut out. I cut out an elastic of, is a slim one of about 2.5 inches. So you can see it. Okay, it's roughly 3 inches. So I'm going to stitch it here, and then I'll just pull it to this point. So you can make this, if you want it to be bolder, you can use a longer elastic. I'm just going to take it like this now. I'll place it on the center of the line. I'll stop stitch and then I'll pull as I stitch. So it extended a little bit more, but I'm just going to pull it like that so you can see the little effect that it made on it. So I'll open it for you to see it, so you see it from the outside. So it's just a little effect, but it's okay. So the next thing, I'm going to fold this down part. So this is where I'm going to create my elastic casing on. So I'll go ahead, I'll fold it down. Okay, so I'm going to stitch the side of my sleeve. I'll join it on the side like this. So just before I get to the hemline, I'm going to stop because I need the space so that I'll be able to pass my elastic casing. So after adding the elastic, I will join that part. So I'll put a notch here on the center so I'll be able to fix my sleeve. So I'm actually going to start fixing it on the top. So I did not add any lining on this sleeve. So this is just a free, since it is a free ready to wear dress, so I'm not lining it. So I'm going to start fixing the sleeve from this point here. So I'll just take right side, facing right side. I'll fix. So after fixing, I will pass the elastic through the casing, and then I will come and show you how to fix the collar on the neckline. So that's the next part. All right. Okay, so I finished stitching the neck collar. So here is what we're going to do. So we're going to fix it now. So I'll show you how we're going to fix it so it lays very low. So you hold the neckline together like this. I'll hold the neckline together like this, and then I'll take the center. So you see it is folded into two. So I'll take the center of the neckline and then measure up to where the neckline gets to, and then that part I'll loosen it. You understand? So you see that part, I did not stitch that part. I stitched it initially. So after everything, I now opened it up. So the next thing we're going to do now, I'm going to put a notch here in the center like this. So I'll make a notch here. And then I will make a notch on the center of the neckline also. So now we're going to fix. Just open up the neckline like this. And then you take the center piece of that part that you notched like this. So you just allow it to lie straight on it. And then we're going to start stitching. So just stitch it around, maintain the curve on the neckline. As you're stitching it, just make sure that you're maintaining the curve on the neckline. When you get to the end, you just do it like a top stitch, and then I'll open it up. So this other part now is like a little bit rough, so that part you're going to use your overlock to cover it up. So I'll do the same thing. So once I'm done, I'll place it on the mannequin for you to see the final look of the dress. Okay. Okay, so at the end of the day, so you can see how our circle dress is looking like with bow, neck bow. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it now for you to see the bow at the back of the dress. So you can see the bow at the back of the dress. It came out well and it is looking very beautiful. You can also add a belt to this dress. So I'm going to show you now how it will look like if you add a belt to it. So at the end of the day, so if you decide to add a belt to it, so you see how it is looking, still looking fine. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please, I will appreciate you. You can just give it a thumbs up. If you will give it a thumbs up, so just like the video, and then if you have any question, you can drop it on the comment section. So thank you so much. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.